بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا، ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا، ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به، واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. صدق الله العظيم.
So I want to begin, inshallah, today, first of all, with a very, very heartwarming thanks to you, because I have been wanting to do this for a very long time. We used to sit and talk in your office, and I used to get so much wisdom, connection, inspiration from what you would say to me. And I've been wanting to do this for a very long time. And I was hoping you would agree to do this with me. And you did. So thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of this.
As you heard me say before so many times, Saihba, thank you for the trust that you have in me. All I pray is that I am worthy of that trust. All I pray is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides me and give me the correct statements, the correct sentences to communicate, and I pray correctly what our faith teaches.
Ameen. Ameen. Same for me. Ameen. So what I would like to do is begin by asking you, now that we are going to go on this journey of your memoirs and reflections, what would you hope for that to be in the end? What would you want the outcome to be? What would you like to relate in this?
I would pray and hope that whatever we share here will be a source of sakina, calmness, and peace for whoever watches this or listens to this. It is what life journey has taught me. And what I have learned that helped me throughout the different stages that we pass through in life. There is so much difficulty these days in the world, and there is so much stress, and we're all going through it. I know. I just pray that in what I share, it will somehow lighten the burden for people and give them a little bit of tools to deal with whatever they are having to deal with. That's my prayer.
I mean, and that's you're very right, Dr. Hind, in saying that we are all going through this together, and there is so much, there is in so many areas. And I think it's extremely brave of you to actually agree to go through this. It's not easy. It's not easy to be so open and trusting and saying, okay, ask me and I'll answer. I mean, it's my job is easy. For you to agree to do this, for you to be able to share, I think it's a very, very brave, very courageous thing. But that's in line with who you are, alhamdulillah. So I don't think it comes easy to you because of who you are, inshallah.
I think this is who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted us to be. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put us on this earth for wisdom. He had wisdom in putting us on this earth. It's a test both for us and for the people around us. And it is how we interact with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put in our destiny. And it is also a statement to how great Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, because He did not leave us alone to deal with things. He gave us a marvelous, marvelous engine called the brain.
Yes.
And He gave us a marvelous, marvelous support for the brain, which is our faith. And this is why we are here for. I am answering your question because I feel this is my responsibility. This is in line of my understanding of what I am here for on this earth, to try to help, to try to uplift, to try to make things better, whether it is for me individually or for my family or the people who I come in contact with, and my policy throughout life, Saihba, which got me into too many troubles, never to say no. When somebody asks me for a question, I always try to answer. And when I don't have an answer, I promise to research and direct them to somebody who can help them and who can answer their question. It is exactly what we did in social services at TMWF. We did not have the ability to provide the resources ourselves. We always wanted to provide them with resources that they can reach out to on their own and get help.
Yes, yes, alhamdulillah. So
I was born in Beirut, Lebanon, to a Palestinian refugee family. I am the youngest of 3 boys. In our family, I was born in Beirut after the Nakba took place in 1948. I was born in Beirut in end of 1950, early 1951. So I'm 71 years old right now. So my family, like I said, were refugees. We did not actually live in the camps, but we were struggling. My father was the only breadwinner, and he had to take care of my mom, my 3 brothers, myself, my grandmother, his mom, who was blind, and a cousin who came with them when they left Palestine. So I grew up with always the issues that refugees have to deal with. I heard it from my parents, and I could experience their agony. I could experience their yearning and longing to be back home. I could experience the loss that they have incurred, losing everything. They came with the clothes on their back.
yeah,
The majority of them were not educated. At that time, majority of people lived in their villages, lived in their cities, they had their life going on. This did not come for them. This was not expected, what actually happened. They were civilians. They were not trained to fight. They were not trained, and all of this was Chinese to them. I was always aware of the difficulties of life. Where are we gonna get our next paycheck? Where is my dad gonna work? How are we gonna feed all these people? How are we gonna provide for all these people? Are we gonna be welcome in the country where we are? By the time I was a teenager, I could realize that we were not as welcome. At first, people thought that Palestinians will come out just for a short period of time, then we'll go back home. But then things changed and years started. And that was a lot of difficulty for us. My dad was, his saving grace was education. He had studied at the American University of Beirut. And he was one of the first in the first civil engineering graduate class from the American University of Beirut. So that was his saving grace. He went and worked in Kuwait, he went and worked in Saudi Arabia. That's how he made his living. But many other people had nothing and had to live in the camps. Actually, my aunt was a school principal in the camps. And she was always talking about how difficult the life in the camps were, how they had to deal with receiving support from UNRWA, United Nations Refugee Agency, how difficult that was, how people were standing in line for their rice, for their sugar, everything that we are witnessing these days. Refugees coming here, I lived it, I witnessed it. The good thing about this is that there was no chance for me to be a spoiled little one, little person in the family. And my parents, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive them and give them mercy and reward them infinitely.
Ameen.
We're beautiful people, brought us up on values, who brought us up to accept Allah's will for us. They did not complain. They did not feel sorry for themselves. They were given something to deal with, and they dealt with to the best of their ability, within their means. I learned a lot of sayings in Arabic. And I love sayings, and I know you remember me, I'm always telling you sayings.
Yes.
Because sayings really helped us. It enforced what we needed to do and how we needed to approach things, and made us realize one thing, Saihba. Everybody has problems, but everybody is given the ability and the chance to try to solve those problems, whether on their own or seeking help. And there will always be good people who will try to help. You just have to look for them, and you just have to rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and always trust in His wisdom. Trust that whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving you, He's giving it to you for your own benefit. And you are going to be a better person because you went through this and because you dealt with it. This is a little bit of what my background. My family was very observant family, very, of course, we're Muslims. And but the beautiful thing about them, Saihba, is they lived their faith. My dad, we would sit down to eat whenever he was in town. We would sit down together to eat. He was always relating stories from the Quran, stories of the messengers. He was always so peaceful and so intelligent that if he was trying to communicate something to us, he would give us a story from the Quran or from the Hadith or from the Seerah. And then he would ask us, what's the moral of the story? And if we could not figure it out, he would tell us what the moral of the story. That's the beauty of it. I've always dreamed to be like him. And I always ask myself, where did he get all that information? How are we gonna get all that information?
To be honest, Dr. Hind, when I've had conversations with you, I've seen you do that. We've barely had a conversation in which, to bring your point across, you didn't quote a hadith or you didn't quote a ayah from the Quran. You have, I don't know if you realize that or not, but you have modeled, you have kind of taken from his modeling, and you have expressed or explained whatever you're trying to explain in the manner that he used to. I think that's where it comes from, maybe.
Alhamdulillah, I'm happy. I'm happy if this is the case. I'm very fortunate. Alhamdulillah. My mom died very young, but she too was an amazing person. She was an angel walking on this earth.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah.
All her difficulties, with everything that she was going through, she was never complaining. She was always elegant. She was in everything. She was the most meticulous person I have ever seen in my life. Her cleanliness was uncle. I always say, if she comes alive now, she will be shocked at me.
You'll get in trouble.
Trouble. Get in trouble because she would not let us get in trouble. She would help us do what needs to be done. Very softly, very calmly, very much in the background. Love that about her. She had the most beautiful smile. She was shorter than me. So I would put my arm around her and try to boss her around with a smile.
Wow.
That's my aunt lived with us. She was single. She did not get married, but she treated us as her children. And I love her with all my heart. She too had a very marvelous impact on me. So, to summarize, Saihba, they were difficult times. They were not easy times, but they gave us a lot, supported us a lot. They gave us the ammunition to deal with life and to try to emulate in our relationships, whether within our own family or whether in the society, the way they interacted with people. They were decent, loving, compassionate, caring, upright human beings. They did not gossip about other people. They did not look at those people and say, how come they have this and we don't have it? Why do they did the best they could? And alhamdulillah, this is what I learned from them.